Welcome to They Tried to Bury Us. My name is Tamer Kattan. I'll be your host. I'm a comedian, a writer, and an actor. I was born in Egypt and moved to America when I was just a kid, so I'm very proud of being an immigrant. And ever since I started doing comedy, I've met more and more immigrants, and I have found more and more amazing stories, and that's what this podcast is all about. Each week, I'm going to have a new guest. They're going to sit down and share with us their American origin stories, and we're going to get to know each other better, and we're going to find out that we're all just the same. So tune in each week, tell every single person you know, and thanks for listening. Welcome to episode 5 of They Tried to Bury Us. I'm Tamer Kattan here with my co-host,
Kattan.
Hi, Mom.
How are you today?
How are you? I'm really good. How are you?
I'm very well.
And I'm really excited to introduce our guest for this episode, Chris. And tell me the rest of your name.
Christopher Chele Recinos.
Christopher Chele Recinos.
Yes.
That's a good name, man. I like that name. And Chris, you immigrated from
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Yeah.
How many years ago?
10 years ago.
So you've been here 10 years.
Yes.
Where in El Salvador are you from?
So I'm from Santa Ana, and I'm from a small town called Santa Leonor. So the city is Santa Ana. No, I'm sorry, the state is called Santa Ana, but like the town I'm from is Santa Leonor.
Okay.
So it's a small town.
What's it like? Is there any place in America that's similar?
So I'm like between the city and like it's the rural, like the outside area of the city, like the suburbs. So I guess the closest thing from what I remember is probably like downtown LA, like.
Oh, so it's busy.
Yeah, but it's not like the type of busy. Like it's more like, I don't know if you've been to like the callejones, the alleys in downtown where there's stores and like the small shops.
What'd you call it?
Like los callejones.
Callejones?
Yeah, that's what we call it. So it's literally just like that. Like the city part is like really like packed and kind of dirty. So yeah.
Yeah, reminds me of Egypt.
Yeah,
Egypt sounds like that.
Yeah.
So, what was life like when you were there, and what made your parents want you to come to America?
Life over there was pretty simple. I can remember me like, you know, how can I put it? So life, like I said, was pretty simple. There's a lot of odd things going on. It was like a lot of poverty in El Salvador. I mean, like I never really knew I was poor until I came to this country. You know, but back at home, like we will see kids like selling like chips, like literally like 5 years old, like getting on the buses, selling candies, or like not going to school, like selling clothes on the street and things like that. So I mean,
is that what you mean by simple? It was just like people doing whatever they needed to do to get by.
Yeah. I mean, life was tough. You know, like I mean, personally, I grew up with my grandma. I didn't meet my parents till I was 9. So my parents would literally send money to my grandma so she can take care of me and my other 4 cousins. And my grandma would literally take care of the whole neighborhood.
And
city.
Where did your parents go?
They were here in the U.S.
Oh, so your parents were in America already. They came to America to make money, and then they sent money back to your grandma to take care of you. You know what's funny? I read up a little bit about El Salvador, and they said that there was 2 major earthquakes that happened, and then it ruined a lot of the roads and the schools and the hospitals. And then America set up this temporary protective immigration thing where they allowed El Salvadorians to come into America and be immigrants. And then now the Trump administration is trying to put a squash to that. Yeah. But a big part of it, I think El Salvadorians were like the second group that sent the most amount of money back home. Yeah. Like it had a massive impact on the economy in El Salvador was El Salvadorians in America sending money back home. So your parents were doing something that was pretty common. Wow. So you didn't meet that. How old are you when your parents left you?
Well, my dad was, I guess I was like 1 when my dad left. My mom was like 3 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you remember when you have your first memories, do you remember your parents first or your grandma first?
I guess my grandma.
Wow.
Took care of me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was you and your cousins, but did you know they were cousins, or were they more like brothers and sisters?
They were more like brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Because we all lived in the same house, and I guess their parents would send money to my grandma. Literally, like everybody, like even other kids' mothers, like they live in town, like the same area, would send money to my grandma.
Wow.
So then she would take care of everybody. So like my house is literally like a house full of kids, because I guess my grandma would was like, I guess like their nanny.
Wow, that's so trippy. I always get amazed by like these things that happen in different towns that break up the like daily life. Like, so it's hard to get jobs, and how people find ways to compromise, find ways to make it work. So your grandma was this woman where people would go out and work and get these jobs and have to be away from their families, and your grandma took care of everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's amazing. It's amazing the stuff that people go through, like just to survive.
Yeah.
And we take so many things for granted over here. So now you're a kid, you're living with your grandma, all your cousins in your house. I imagine it's fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's like literally, I remember being like 5 years old and like me running down the street like 11 a.m., like 11 p.m. or 12 p.m., like 5 miles away from my house. Just
Oh my God.
like all of us just little rascals.
You were
like,
running wild.
Yeah. So it just like there's liberty, like, just me and my cousins or like the kids in my neighborhood, 12 p.m., 1 p.m., just outside on the streets, you know, just running wild.
So it was too much for your grandma to handle everybody.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So the boys kind of ran wild,
Yeah.
I bet. Girls too? Were the girls as wild as the boys?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, so now you're with this group of kids, you're having fun, but are you aware that your parents are gone? Do you miss your parents? Are you thinking about them in America?
To tell the truth, I don't think I missed them back then, because, you know, I'm like, you can't miss something that you never had.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they would call me every day and be like, hey, like, we miss you. Like, we love you so much. You know, and like, I would say I love you back and I miss you back. But like, I didn't really mean it, because
they were voices on a phone.
Yeah. You know, it's like most of all the kids in my neighborhood, their parents is here. Because if your parents are not in the U.S., you can't survive. You know, like unfortunately, like the kids that didn't have parents or family in the U.S. were kids living in the street or people living in the street. Or like, I remember there were train tracks, and then literally down the street from my house back then, and like literally people would live in plastic houses, plastic bags. People like literally like just like with kids and things like that. So,
made like tents and stuff out of bags?
Plastic bags.
Wow, that's heavy, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So how old are you at this point before you start hearing conversations about you going to America, the possibility of you leaving El Salvador for America?
Probably like 7. I had one of my cousins, one of my, I guess he was same age as me. His parents had paid for him to come to America. You know, we can't come legally in this country, so they pay for a coyote, which is the people who snuggle immigrants.
Oh yeah,
to the
smugglers,
US.
coyotes, right?
Coyotes, yeah. So that was the first time. Well, and then once he left, you know, I guess my mom had talked to my grandma. It's like, yeah, you know, we're gonna bring him here, you know, because it's a better opportunity here than over there.
Sure.
So yeah.
Now, did you know, like when your mom talked to your grandma first, but who was the person that told you you're going to America?
I think it was my grandma. She was like, you know, like they want you to go over there.
What did it feel? What did you feel?
I was like, man, I can't do it. You know, I have everything was over there. My family, like literally everybody, my cousins, my grandma, which is the only person I knew.
Yeah.
I was like devastated. I was like, no, I don't want to go. Like, I don't even know them. Like, well,
they're just voices on a phone or pictures.
Yeah.
And, wow. And at 7 years old too, that's kind of a heavy message.
Yeah.
So then they tell you you're going to America, and that's a heavy message. And then on top of that, it's not like even if you were just going on a plane, even if they said you're going to America, here's a ticket for a plane, that would stress me the F out.
Yeah.
But this was, you're going to America, and a coyote is gonna,
So
a smuggler.
Yeah, smuggler. Yeah.
So you're 7 years old, you find out you're coming to America.
Yeah.
What are the next steps? What starts happening now before the process starts happening with the coyote?
Yeah. So before I talk to that, I want to talk mostly about how the country's run. So basically, my town, it's a lot of gang violence. So I don't know if you've been to the ghetto in the U.S., but the ghetto over there makes the ghetto here look like heaven. So over there, gangs run everything, and like, you know, like we will sometimes just see bodies on the street just laying down, or people just, you know, head shops, like, you know, just burn, like people burn or rape in the middle of the street, just dead.
Just dead bodies in the street. Yeah, just dead
bodies. So, you know, it wasn't, I mean, for us, it was just normal. But like now that I think about it, it was like, it's not normal. But for us, it was normal just finding dead bodies, or people just getting raped, or people just getting like getting cut with machetes.
Machete, yeah.
Things like that. So my parents like, you know what, like this is not the lifestyle we want for you. You know, there's no money over there, so we got to send you here. Yeah, so when I found out, I was devastated. You know, like the steps. They first got to pay 1/2 to the person who's bringing me. But eventually, my mom actually came back to El Salvador because she actually had papers. She had a passport, a visa. So she came back to El Salvador. And then she actually, her and my uncle dropped me off in Mexico. Yeah.
Oh, so they dropped you off in Mexico.
Yeah.
So they took you from El Salvador to Mexico.
Yeah, so...
and that's where you're meeting the coyote.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. So you're in El Salvador. Your mom comes to El Salvador to pick you up and take you to Mexico. What was that meeting like when you first saw her?
I mean, it was just... she was... How can I put this? I was kind of like in shock. You know, it's like, it's my mom. I've seen it like twice.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I was like, oh, and she's like, yeah, we're going to take you. So it was just.
That had to feel great. And how, and now you're about what age when she came?
I was like 8.
Okay, so you're like 8 years old at this point. And now you're with this woman who, even though she's your mom, you don't know her that well. And you're a really young kid. And now they start telling you, okay, now we're on our way to America. And first we're going to, get in a car and drive to Mexico? Or how do you get to Mexico from El Salvador?
So basically, I remember this like it was yesterday. So a truck came into my town. I remember it was like 5 a.m. in the morning. Even before that, my mom actually spent the whole night. My mom spent the whole night putting secret pockets in her underwears, just because, you know, the way to Mexico, even like the way to get to the United States is not safe.
Yeah.
So that literally the whole night we didn't sleep. Like 4 a.m. came, and then a truck came, a blue truck, and then random people started getting in the truck, and I guess we all were going to America. You know, I guess to Mexico. Well, actually the truck would take us to the buses in like the capital of Salvador, and then from the capital of Salvador we would take a bus to Guatemala, and then things like that until the way to Mexico.
Wow. Okay, so now you're on this bus. There's a bunch of people with you on the bus. Can you tell, like, these are also people that are going to meet coyotes, or were they just regular people taking transportation?
I feel like, so first we gotta go to the border of Guatemala and El Salvador. That part, after that part, you can kind of tell like who's going like out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember that we actually took a bus all the way through Guatemala, and I remember this. We were gonna take a bus, but I wanted like a van, I guess, like a van. But the van, my mom was like, "Nah, we're not gonna take that van. Like we wait for the bus to come." So, we took the bus, and then once we got to the kind of close to the border of Mexico and Guatemala, we found out that van, a lot like just robbers just came and just robbed everything from the people. Just kill a couple people from like the van, just literally took their money. And then I was like, damn, like we really just missed that part. Like, you know, if we would have took that van, we would have been.
Could have been killed.
Yeah, or somewhere else.
So it's crazy. So you've got like this group of people that are trying to escape and immigrate to another country, and then these group of opportunist robbers that are like, hey, we know if we hit these vans. And that's why your mom was sewing secret pockets.
Yeah.
In order to hide money and stuff. Yeah,
because over there, like people know that other people are trying to migrate to the U.S., so they gotta take these roads and this path. So like they're carrying money because they need, you know, like they gotta.
Yeah, they're starting life.
Yeah. So that's their opportunity. You know, the cartels or the gangs. They go in the buses, or like you know, like they know the routes that the immigrants are taking. They just go to those routes and just kidnap people,
and target people.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, so now you're while you're on the bus with your mom, is she telling you about America? Is she like, how is she comforting you?
I mean, she didn't tell me anything. She was like, yeah, we're just gonna go over there and you're gonna have a better life.
It must have been hard for her too, though, because it's not, a lot of times you think, oh, here's this kid meeting his mom for the first time, but it's also her seeing you for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, in a long time,
So it's probably you guys getting to know each other all over again.
He connected to his grandmother more.
Yeah.
You can relate to, like, that's what happened to my mom.
Yeah.
My mom grew up with her grandma.
Yeah. you connect more love and caring and all that all your childhood. So when you met your mom, it's just another person. She's your mom, but you're not connected with her.
That's interesting. It's like they always say like how like there's a word in the animal world called imprinting. Like you ever see those videos where like a Labrador takes care of a duck, and it's like because when the duck was born, it saw the lab, and it's like that's it. That's my dad. That's my mom. That's my family. And then when other ducks go by, it just barks at it.
I've seen things like that.
So okay, so do you remember how long the bus ride was, or?
I mean, we took like multiple buses. Like it's probably like 3 days.
Wow, so it was 3 days. Wow,
just on buses, and until we got to the kind of close to the border of Mexico and Guatemala. In that part, we took a boat. We crossed in a boat, like an illegal boat, to get to Mexico. We went through the river because I guess through Guatemala and Mexico, I guess you need like some other papers which we didn't have, so we just paid somebody else to take us like on the river from Guatemala to Mexico. We just got on a boat and we got to Mexico.
And I imagine the whole time you're tense.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be a little bit scared, not only of getting caught, you know, by whatever the police looks like or sounds like, but also by the criminals that are trying to rob. So it's like a giant game of Frogger. Yeah. You're just trying to cross. Okay, so now you've crossed into Mexico, and now by bus, and now you took a boat to cross this river. Yeah. And what's next?
So next is where we meet the coyotes, or I guess coyotes. My mom, well, one of my uncles actually knows her, and I guess she has taken a bunch of kids from our town and crossed them over. That's the part when they leave, and they leave me with a coyote and just random people, like 6 other people, just random people. So because they got to go back, you know, because my mom, she can't go that way, and my uncle's going back. They only came to drop me off to Guatemala because it's cheaper.
Oh, because she's over. So she has to go back and go to America by plane.
Yeah.
So she had to leave you with the smugglers on your own.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
7 years old. Wow.
Yeah. Actually, I was like 8. I was 8
at that point. You were
like 8, like 8 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so she leaves you. She leaves you with the smugglers and says, "I'll see you in America."
Yeah.
And fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Man, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happens after?
So during that time, I guess there was a lot of immigration laws going on, and the criminals, or like the Mafia, the Mexican Mafia, the cartel is really heavy. So they just took me to their house. I was like Veracruz. I think that's the name of the state. It's a Mexican state.
Where the coyotes took you to a house?
No, to their house. With like the other people, because
like a safe house kind of.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it was a safe house. It's like in a small town in Mexico, Veracruz, like the middle of nowhere. It's just literally all there was is cane fields everywhere, and you know times was tough during that time. So we gotta wait here until it calms down, because the cartel, the Mafia is really, you know, is basically on us, and the government right now, you know, we can't. So I was just there for I think a month in like a random house in Mexico.
Wow.
With random people.
Yeah, I've heard stories like that. Like that there are times you almost have to watch the Mafia the way you watch weather. Yeah. Like, is it raining today or is it safe to go outside? Yeah. You know, and it's like there's times where the Mafia is hot and they'll go after caravans, and then there's time where the Mafia is focused on something else, and those are the times where you can here's our chance to go and try to get the border. So there's so many obstacles. It's not just the border. That, like, a lot of people think like that's where the scary part starts is right when you get to the border, but
it's the whole,
not even
the whole way. Yeah.
So you're there in Veracruz for almost a month. Yeah. And then after a few weeks, it probably started feeling like, how long am I going to be in this place? Right?
I remember that I didn't even pack enough clothes. I literally packed three pairs of shorts and boxers and shirts, and literally I remember that I didn't have enough clothes, so I would just wear boxers because I didn't have clothes, you know. Yeah. Just wear boxers the whole time, and then, you know, my mom would call me every day. She's like, man, like she would call me crying, we want to see you, but you know, it's because she was hurt, because I'm her kid. Sure. She was hurt.
Now she's seen you and bonded with you. Yeah.
It's now, she tells me, man, I would have never done that again, because, you know, that's scary. Literally, I didn't sleep for a whole month because I was scared for your life because it's not safe.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, she was like now she tells me nah, if I had to, I don't think I would have done it again because the way it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after Veracruz, what happens next?
So I was in Veracruz for a whole month. I remember like me playing or like working in the cane fields too with the kids, because like remember like there were other town kids and like they work in the cane fields. I would work with them, and
was it like a job? When you say work with them, like did they? Because you didn't say I would play with them.
Yeah, I mean, but technically, it was like playing for us, but like literally we were working because we were kids.
Yeah.
So it was like playing, but like literally like we were actually work in the cane fields.
Yeah, like chopping down cane.
Yeah, and just sell it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like there was like 6 people with us, in the safe house. But since we were too long, mostly all of them left. Literally, it was just me and like other lady.
Wow.
Because they were like they were taking too long, so everybody left, and it was just me and like another lady that stayed. So
the other people like kind of gave up.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, we don't want to wait anymore.
Yeah.
Now's not a good time, and they left.
Yeah,
and it was just you and a lady.
Yeah, another lady. So when things got safer, we just got on the road. I remember it was like we took like 2 weeks, I think, to get to the border of Mexico and the U.S. It took us like 2 weeks just in cars, like in a van. You know, we just stop random places to sleep, hotels. You know, we just like random like points, like you know, random checkpoints, and like the lady was like literally. They would teach me how to change my accent, because our Spanish accent is different than Mexican accents.
Sure.
So they were like, you can't talk, you can't say that, you can't say this, you can't say that, because somebody sees that you're saying that or talking like that, they're gonna assume you're not from here.
They'll know you're from El Salvador.
Yeah, they know you're from El Salvador, or like you're Central American. So like they would tell me you can't say vos. Like vos for us is like it's like you, like Mexicans say tú.
Yeah.
So we say vos. Or like accents, like our accent is very heavy.
Yeah.
So like they were like, as soon as I got here, like, yeah, we're gonna teach you how to speak like a Mexican. You know, just change my whole language. So like during the road, during like checkpoints, because you know, like the military will like have checkpoints. Sometimes even the cartels will have checkpoints just to see who you were.
Yeah.
Like middle of the road, like, oh yeah, I guess like the new her, so they would just let her go. And then they're like they'll ask us questions, like people in the cars. And they're like, you know, you gotta talk like you're a Mexican. So I was like, yeah, like just like changing my accent in a way.
Yeah. That's such a heavy thing for a kid to go through, you know? Like you're going through the stuff that like spies go through, you know?
Yeah.
So now you're in Mexico, you get to the border. What's it like to get to when you first got to America? What was that day? What happened that day?
So before that, so while getting close to the border of Mexico and the US, another lady was supposed to get me through with fake papers through Mexico and the US. But when she saw me, she said I was too big. So then we had to go to a hotel close to the border, and we just had to plan it out. They were gonna send me through the desert with a different
fake
coyote.
papers were for a kid that was smaller than you.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have passed for the, oh wow.
Yeah.
So then back to the drawing board again, back into the hotel.
So they were like, you know, they had a discussion about it, because basically everybody older, like everybody else older than like probably like 16 or 17, they gotta go, like probably like 14, they gotta go through the desert. You know, the desert is like 2 weeks. Like you gotta walk for like 2 weeks or even less. I don't know how long did it take. But the lady I was with, the same day she left to the desert, and they were like, yeah, like we don't know what we're gonna do with the kid. Like we don't know if we're gonna send her to the desert or.
You were at that tricky age almost where you're a little older than like a kid that's small enough to be snuck in with papers, but not old enough to go through the exhaustion of going through the desert.
Yeah, you know, and like we're in the hotel and we're just talking, and then like a lady knocks on the door, and she's like, hey, I guess she was the lady, the cleaning lady, and she's like, hey, like I heard everything that's going on, like, and I can help you guys out.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The cleaning lady heard, and she's like, I can help.
Yeah, I can help you guys out. You know, I got a kid like his age, and you know, would you just, you know, just give me like a little bit of money, and then I like just do it. You know, I just like, you know, I just go through the guess the houses the border. Yeah, like the checkpoints, because there's a checkpoint between Mexico and like in the U.S. where you got to go through like cars and like.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. What part were you coming through?
I don't know. I think the part under Arizona. I don't know. I think it's Tijuana. I think.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
So you're coming through. She's like, I'm gonna pretend he's my kid.
Yeah.
And I can help just give me a little bit of dough.
Yeah. So like the whole night, we like, I guess it was just, like they were teaching me how to say things in English. Like, you know, like my name is, and like things like that. So
I remember learning stuff like that too.
So like they gave me a whole paper, and they're like, look, if they ask for your name, like, here's your birthday, here's here. So like, so basically I had to act like the other kid.
Yeah.
You know, and so I remember we waited in the car for like 1 hour because the line's long to transfer to go like to Mexico and the U.S. And then when I got there, the lady just gave her kid's passport and hers passport, and then he didn't even look at me because I was looking the other way. I was trying to like look the other way. So like just look the other way.
Don't look at my face.
Don't look whatever. Don't look at his eyes. Just look the other way. And then it was just simple. It was just like the guy was like, "Yeah, y'all good. Y'all can go." And I remember like there was a Walmart like close to there, like probably like 10 minutes away, and like that's where my coyote met the lady that passed me through.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So the first thing you see, the first big American...
I seen a Walmart.
I
seen a Walmart. Yeah, the Walmart. Yeah, I seen a Walmart.
That is the best symbol of like a
Walmart.
Of American democracy, corporate mentality. That's so funny.
I remember like as soon as I got there, we're so happy for you, man. You know what? We're gonna buy some new clothes from Walmart today. I remember that. Like, you know,
wow.
They just say like I remember it was like a black shirt, and it says cool, like just cool kid. I remember that.
Oh, really? A shirt that said cool kid on it?
Yeah, I remember that. And I just had it saved. I don't know what the shirt was, but yeah, I remember that.
So now you're in America, you meet your family. Mm-hmm. How did it feel when you first got there?
Oh man, it was just awkward, you know. I remember my dad, you know. Matter of fact, first I went to LA. We're here in LA. I was just living with my aunties in like different houses because they were poor. They were matter of fact they were poor here. Like they were like actually some of my cousins in Salvador. I met him up here, and then his mom would sleep in like different living rooms from like other people's houses because we didn't have a place to stay.
Because you wanted to save up money to get your own place.
No, because we didn't have like my auntie didn't have a place to stay, and then like I had to wait for my mom and my dad, but my mom and my dad were in Texas, but I came to LA, so. It took them like a month to get to LA.
Got you. So when they were in America, they were in Texas. Mm-hmm. But they brought you in closer to California. So you ended up in LA, and it took them.
Yeah. So I was living with my auntie, different houses, different places. You know, but with my cousins that lived in El Salvador with me.
So at least you saw some familiar faces.
Yeah, my cousins. It's like a month later, my mom, my dad came to pick me up. That was like the weirdest thing ever because they were like, we love you so much and like, we'll miss you. And I just didn't really feel anything. I was
of course, you don't know them yet.
Yeah, I was like,
You went through a lot also. Yeah. You need to cover from all
At such a young age, man, from like 7 to 9 years old. That's like some of the most traumatic stuff to go through.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of like, the person you knew that loved you the most is back in El Salvador, and then these other people that you know are your parents, but you've only know their voices and photographs. You've seen them for the first time. That's a lot of heavy stuff to go through. And then on top of all that, now you're in a new country, have to learn a new language, a new culture, all that stuff. So did you go to school right away when they came?
No. Well, because I was in LA for like a month. I came like on April or like a March. And then my parents came like to pick me up in April. So like the first month, I was literally just hanging out with my cousins in like LA, like South Central LA or like Mid City, LA. So we just they're just running wild on the streets here. Then when they came and got me, they took me to Texas, Houston, Texas. We were there for like 2 years. I mean learning English was like tough because in Houston, the schools were different. Over here they have like ESL classes. Yeah. I guess over there they didn't have no like ESL classes, so I would just put in a class with like. Wow. So like I had to learn. Like it wasn't like you know what, like we're gonna teach you how to speak English. It's like you're gonna learn because it's
pretty messed up. Yeah. Texas shares a border with Mexico, and they're like no ESL classes for us.
You know,
wow.
But even over there, you know, in Texas there was like a lot of racial issues. Like I don't know if you know this, but like being Hispanic or Latinos, there's like they kind of put other Latinos down too. So like Salvadorians get it like the toughest between Hispanics. Like if you're Salvadorian, you know, like you get it worse from the Mexicans. Like the Mexicans won't like you. You know, it's like a whole racial thing. So while I was over there, it was tough for me. You know, I was getting bullied by like the other Hispanic kids because I was like, because I was different. Because I was different. You know, my accent was different. Even the teachers, even my Mexican teachers, since they knew I was like fresh out the border, and they were like they'll put me in the back of the class. They were always like, you know, like, and they'll just tell me like racial things, like, you know, you're from Salvador. You know, you can't, you know, you can't be hanging around with the Mexicans and things like that. And, you know, I remember that, like, you know, it was just a lot of things. They treated
you like a second-class citizen, even within the Latino culture.
Yeah. Especially in Texas.
Especially in Texas.
Yeah, because Texas is run mostly by Mexicans. You know, it was over there. It was tough. You know, I was like, Mom, like, you know, I would go home crying, like, Mom, like, I'm not trying to be here. Like, it's not my country. You know, people treat me different. Like, I don't want to be here. I want to go back to my country because here, you know, Texas is tough. You know, like literally, like the community in Texas, like the Hispanic community in Texas, especially Mexican community in Texas, puts other like races down. So literally in school, I was just literally put like in the corner of the classes by by my Mexican teachers. They would just put me down, things like that.
That's heavy, man. Yeah. It's so, I've always been fascinated by that because I have a lot of friends in Miami that are Cuban, and they, same thing, where Cubans actually put down other, Cubans look down on Mexicans, Mexicans look down on El Salvadorians. Yeah. It happens in our culture too, and Middle Eastern people. I have Iranian friends that don't like Arabs as much, and then certain kinds of Arabs don't like other kinds of Arabs. Yeah. And so we're so mean to each other. You know, one of the things that makes me most angry is that every country, when they have a Miss Universe contest, like a beauty pageant, it's always the one that looks most white. Yeah. And it drives me insane. Yeah. Miss India doesn't look like she's from India. Miss Egypt doesn't look like she's from Egypt. Miss El Salvador doesn't look like she's from El Salvador. Yeah. They look like American women on Western TV. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think that's the one, that's probably, what's the opposite of a silver lining? That's the terrible lining. Mm-hmm. It's the opposite of a silver lining, right? It's like the black lining of a silver cloud, where even though our entertainment is everywhere, and that's a good thing for us, it kind of has a negative effect sometimes, and it makes us self-hating sometimes. Mm-hmm. Especially, it drives me crazy that like Mexicans could understand what you went through and how hard it was, how difficult it is. So what would you say was your hardest day in America, from not just from childhood, but all the way up until now in adulthood? What do you think was the day that made you feel like, oh, this is really unfair?
I guess I have two. Probably like when I was a kid, like I guess being treated different. Like, well, I remember one time, like the kids beat me up. It was like 5 kids beat me up for like being Salvadorian. Oh. As a kid, remember that? Like they were all there too. I was just walking down the street, and like I guess they knew me from school, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's Salvadorian. You know, we're just gonna beat him up." And then the other part here was like a couple months ago, I was told that I was too ethnic, or just too like, I guess too. Yeah, just being too ethnic, you know.
Too ethnic?
Yeah, so like some Caucasian male, like they just told me that I didn't fit in because I was just too ethnic. So I was just kind of.
So you had a job?
Yeah, I was at a job.
So you were at this job, and the white dude that worked at the job was like, you're too ethnic for my company. Yeah. In 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
How did he approach you with it? Was it like, hey, we don't want you working here anymore, or we can't have you, or what was?
Well, technically, yeah, it was just a meeting. They were like, oh, you know what, like, you work hard, really, you know, people really like you, but I'm sorry, you just don't fit in.
You don't fit in.
Yeah, so I was like, wow. You know, I guess why, you know, like we kind of had some arguments about different things that went around. You know, like even like me speaking Spanish a couple times with the clients, like, oh, you know, you can't speak Spanish because we can't understand what you're saying. Whoa. And things like that, or like sometimes, well, this is like a fitness gym, and like a couple times I'll play like salsa music, and they're like, oh, you know, you can't, like you gotta take this shit off, like we're not Mexican, like and things like that.
Wow, they would say stuff. Yeah. So it's a fitness gym, and you're putting on salsa music, and they're like, hey, we're not Latino in here. Yeah, so you gotta. And you have it's funny because other jobs, if you speak Spanish, that's a bonus. Yeah. Like if you have a Spanish client and you have an employee that works and speaks Spanish, that's a nice thing. Yeah. And they're like, don't speak Spanish in here because we don't know what you're saying. Yeah.
Wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very sad.
Yeah, I was just.
If you speak Spanish, you help lots of people with second language for you. Yeah. It's sad.
It's just crazy to me that like, and it shows racism is bad for the economy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, You can't tell people what you don't own people when they work for you. Yeah. You know, they work for you. They work at your company. And the thing I don't understand about jobs in America sometimes, or the influence of corporate culture in America, is it's too strong. We give companies a tremendous amount of loyalty, and they give us none.
Yeah.
None. And they can fire us on a whim. They can do whatever they want. And there's a lot of people that feel like if I own a company, I can do whatever I want. It's like, yeah, you own the company. You don't own people. Not in America. In America, you don't own people. You pay for our time, and you pay for us to go in and do our jobs. But to tell you that you can't speak Spanish, or you can put on every other kind of music and there's no problem. But if you put on music that happens to be from your culture, that's too ethnic.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I remember this one time I was wearing a bandana, and then, like, you know, it was like all the trainers wearing bandanas, and the guy was like, "Oh, you gotta take that out. You look too ghetto. You know, like this is not South Central. It's not Compton. You know, like you gotta take that shit away, or you either you take it or you leave." Oh, wow. Like, damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Like, if I worked at a company and someone say, "Oh, well, we have a policy about this and this," it depends on how you say it.
Yeah.
And this is what I think is really funny, because there's a lot of people hear racist things sometimes, be like, "Well, that doesn't sound racist," and it's because they do it. There's a micro aggression or micro racism where they don't say stuff like, "Oh, you know, we have a policy at work, so don't wear that bandana." It's not necessary for him to say that's ghetto. That's where it starts becoming racist.
Yeah.
When you say that's ghetto, or this isn't South Central, or saying things like, if you don't like it, get out. Like that's when they're crossing the line, and that's when you know that person is using racist behavior. Yeah. And I don't care if somebody likes me or doesn't like me. Some people are going to like me. Some people are going to hate me. What I really care, and I actually don't even care about racism. If you want to be a racist person, be a racist person. But what I do care about is institutionalized racism. I care about companies telling me I can't be me, or telling you can't be you. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Or governments, when we pay taxes just like everybody else. Yeah. So why am I sitting in coach when I'm paying the same price as the guy in first class drinking champagne? Yeah. That's the part that drives me crazy. All right, so so we heard about the struggle. We heard about the hardest days. What's been the best day in America? What's been your best moment, best time being in the country? Are you happy that you came?
I feel like, you know, because I was illegal for, technically I'm still in a way illegal, but now I just got a work permit. You know, I got my work permit 2017 or I think late 2016. That's like the best moment, because like, man, I can work, or I can go to school, I can go to college.
Yeah, that's great.
Because immigrants here, you can go to college, but like you get charged. Well, in California, in other states, like I think it's like 13 states you can go to college, and you know, the only things that you get charged out of state tuition. So like, you know, like community college, instead of being like $200, it's like $10,000. And like, and like me, when I got my work permit, it came like, I guess I could afford. I qualified as in-state tuition, and then matter of fact, I qualified for the BOG waiver in Cali. Means that you like the classes are free. And like that was the best moment, because there's I was reading about it just recently, and it says that it was like 65,000 like illegal immigrants graduate from high school every year, but only 5% go to college. Wow. And like I was like, man, like, you know, even though I'm at a community college, you know, I'm still like, you know, I'm blessed that I'm actually going to college, because all my illegal cousins, they didn't even graduate high school. I'm like the first one that graduated high school, or just even like put a feet in college. Yeah, my foot in college.
Dude, so congratulations! Yeah. That's a big deal, man. Yeah. That's a big deal. Yeah, and it's got to be scary. You know, I could see them being scared to kind of like, because every time you fill out an application, it must be scary. Yeah, especially when you're not 100% legal yet. Yeah. Like even filling out a job application is scary, you know, or filling out an application for a school. It's got to be scary. And at the end of the day, I used to say this thing where I did a show in Texas coincidentally one time, and in the middle of my set, this guy yelled out, "God bless America." And I said, "Hey man, I hope he does." But I could tell by the way he said it, he didn't mean it like God bless America. He said it like, because I'm an Arab. And I said, "I hope he does bless America. I love America." And I go, "But do you know what God would say if he heard you say that?" He'd say, "What's America?" Yeah. Because God didn't create countries. Yeah. There's no maps in the Bible, in the Quran, or in the Torah. Yeah. There's no maps. There's no, there's no religion that says we didn't all come from the same dude. Yeah. So it's crazy when people start creating these lines and saying, and making life harder for people, especially kids, man. Like kids that are here that are trying to get an education, that's a good thing. That's the opposite of all the stuff they say in the news. So it's like, to make it even harder for kids that are here, and because they came here because their parents brought them here, and they're kind of here not even by their own decision necessarily, but they're trying to live a better life and be good citizens. It benefits the country, it benefits you, it benefits everyone. These policies, these are the racist policies I'm talking about, where the policy doesn't make sense anymore. It just sounds hateful. So that's great, man. Good for you. What are you studying?
Kinesiology. So it's like the body mechanics and how like the body reacts to movement, the science behind body movement. You know, I want to be like a physical therapist or occupational therapist, or just be like a fitness guru.
That's great, man.
Like that. Like,
well, I've actually been in a boxing gym with you before. We've hit,
that's where we met.
We hit pads, and you're great. You're I haven't seen you in a ring or anything, but I could tell you got great technique. And you're my favorite person to hit mitts with.
Thank you.
So, dude, I'm really proud of you, man. I know, like, I'm not your big brother or anything like that, but I feel like a big brother. I'm really proud of you for what you went through. I'm really proud of you for what you're going through now. I think it's great that you're in college, and I'm really stoked that you made it here. Is there anything else you want to say? Like, because you're a fitness trainer now. Let's let people know how they can find you. You want people to you want to get followers or anything like that, or people?
Yeah. So if you guys can follow me on Instagram, Christopher, ChristopherEcinos. That's my Instagram, Christopher Recinos. Just follow him on Instagram.
He's a great boxing trainer. You can take it from me. He's great.
Yeah, boxing trainer. Matter of fact, I'm like a boxing and fitness trainer. So anything fitness related, I can help you out. So
right on, dude. Thanks so much for being on the show, man. I appreciate you. And dude, your story reminds me so much of my mom's.
Be proud of yourself. Your mom, she did a good job for you, and you're doing very good job. And don't allow anybody to tell you get out of the work or they can fire you. If you work hard, nobody allowed you to fire you because you work hard. It doesn't matter.
Then you find a better job. He did you a favor. He did you a favor.
Matter of fact, after that, I found a better job. So
right on.
Right on. Something bad happens, something good happens.